Hey everyone, welcome to my kitchen. My name's Amanda and I am going to show you how I made a gluten-free lemon blueberry cake for my son's second birthday. And let me tell you, it's so tasty and so delicious. So let's go ahead and get started because it is really amazing and easy to make. It's actually not that hard. And I'm going to show you step by step on how I make it. We're going to make the cake first. So here's everything you're going to need to make the cake. You will need milk. And we're going to use a gluten-free classic yellow cake mix. And you can use one that's anywhere between 15 ounce or 18.25 ounces. We're going to need a lemon extract. We're going to need some vegetable oil. We're going to need some blueberries. You can use frozen or fresh. We are going to need some Jello Vanilla Pudding. And this is a 3.4 ounce. And we're going to need 3 eggs. I am also splitting up the days that I make the cake and the frosting. I am using a Pillsbury gluten-free classic yellow cake mix, and this one is 17 ounces. I have normally used Aldi's gluten-free yellow cake mix, which works perfectly well with this recipe, but I did a Walmart pickup and this is what I got. So we're gonna go ahead and dump that into the bowl. My daughter is helping to make the birthday cake and she's so excited. It is one of our favorite cakes to make. Now we are going to add our Jello Vanilla Pudding. It is 3.4 ounces, and this will make your cake really soft and moist. Now, I went on their website, and this says that it is gluten-free, but always double check their ingredients. Add 1 cup of milk. Add your 3 eggs, and if you know me, I save my eggshells for my garden, and I put them in a Ziploc bag, and I put them in my freezer until I have accumulated a nice worth of eggshells in that gallon-sized Ziploc bag, and it works perfect for the garden. Add a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. And last, we're going to add some Watkins Pure Vanilla Extract. You can add 3 to 4 tablespoons of lemon extract. This is a personal preference of how strong you want your lemon flavor to be. We did 3 tablespoons of it first, and then we smelt it and we wanted more. So we added another tablespoon, making it a total of 4 tablespoons of lemon extract. It's so tasty, especially if you love lemon flavors, go for it. Go for the 4 tablespoons. Now that we have all those ingredients in our mixing bowl, we're going to go ahead and mix it all together. Don't worry, it will be a thick batter and that's perfectly fine. My daughter started to mix it first and then I took over because it was really thick. And again, don't worry that it is thick. It's perfectly fine. And you can also use the Aldi's gluten-free yellow classic cake mix. It's perfect as well with that one. That's the one I use all the time when making this. This was my first time ever using the Pillsbury gluten-free yellow classic cake mix, but it turned out perfectly fine. I was just in a pinch and I did a Walmart pickup and I added it to it because I didn't have time to run into another store at that point. So this worked out really well as well. I am really happy with it. So I think you can use any of the yellow classic cake mix that are gluten-free as long as it's in between the 15 ounce or 18.25 ounce of it, and it'll work perfectly fine. But you just want to mix this until it's all nicely smooth and you don't have any clumps and it's thick. But don't worry that it's thick. It'll be perfectly fine and it'll taste so amazing. We have it to the smooth consistency that we want it to be. Now we're going to try to remove as much of the batter as we can from the blades. And then you're going to want to scrape down the sides to the bowl. So that way all the batter is nicely together. That way then it's easier and ready to be scooped into your springform pans. I highly recommend using springform pans for this because you will see once you add the blueberries and everything else, it really helps it a lot. Now we're going to take 2 9-inch springform pans. I'm going to spray them down nicely. I love using this for this recipe because it makes it so easy to just remove it once it has baked and cooled down. So this works really well. So definitely spray it nicely. Now we're going to take the cake batter and try to equally portion it between the 2 springform pans. Just eye it out, use your best judgment on making sure that they both look equal. And because the batter is so thick, you're really just going to have to scoop it out. The last time I made this cake, I think it was about a year ago, and I used the gluten-free Aldi's cake mix. And I don't recall it being as thick as this one, but this one turned out well too. So you could use the Aldi's gluten-free or the Pillsbury gluten-free one. Now that we have the cake batter split up between the two springform pans, we're going to go ahead and try to flatten it as best as possible. It is really thick. I was worried for a while, like being that I've not used this cake mix with this recipe before, but I will say it turned out amazing. At the end, the cake was delicious. But just spread it out as best as possible. It is starting to come up because I did spray the springform pans really nice with the pan spray. And so when you do put the blueberries down on top, it will help weight it down. So just try to spread it out as best as possible. And you may think like, oh, this is really weird and different looking, not like a normal cake mixture. But again, I will reassure you, it'll be really fine and it'll taste great. Next time I make this cake, I'm actually going to spray my spatula down with the pan spray, so that way when trying to spread this all out, it'll be a lot smoother and it won't stick to the spatula. So if you make this cake, I highly recommend spraying your spatula with some pan spray so that way it smooths out easier. And then at the end, you won't have to try to scrape off the batter off the spatula to add to the springform pan. But it is really tasty. It is a cake that we all really love a lot. I've even made it for my mom for her birthday. I've made it for my other son for his birthday. And if you're a big blueberry fan and love the lemon flavor, this is so amazing and pairs so well together. It's such a treat. Now we're going to go ahead and add 1 cup of frozen blueberries to each springform pan. I got the frozen blueberries from Costco. I love to get these when I go there because my youngest, he really loves blueberries a lot and he really loves the frozen ones too. So we go through the fresh ones so fast. So I always make sure I have frozen blueberries on hand. I really love making it with fresh blueberries, but I had frozen blueberries in my freezer and I really wanted to use those up, and I wasn't going to get to Aldi's until the next day to get some fresh blueberries so that way I can put those on the top, because if I have fresh blueberries in my house, they go so fast with my kids. Now that we have the blueberries on top of the cake batter, I'm just going to take some areas that are really heavy with the blueberries and just kind of try to spread it out as best as possible over top of the areas that there's more yellow in. It's really nice having the blueberries in some of the areas that there aren't a lot of them in. So just try that as best as possible. Now we're going to go ahead and put them in the preheated oven of 350 degrees, and we're going to bake for about a good 35 minutes until the knife comes out clean. Mine took a good 33 minutes, and this was using the Pillsbury gluten-free classic yellow cake mix. If you use the Aldi's gluten-free yellow cake mix, my notes that I wrote 35 to 50 minutes. If you're using the gluten-free Aldi's one, definitely check periodically. But look how beautiful they turned out. We're going to let them cool. I let mine cool for a good hour. And once they're cooled down, we're going to go ahead and remove the springform pans. I love using the springform pans because of this reason. It really makes it easy, especially for cakes like this. They look great. They look so beautiful. It smells amazing. My family is going to be so happy and so ready to dig into this. But now we're going to take some parchment paper, and I've made them the same size as my plates, so that way when I move them to my plates and put them in my refrigerator overnight, it's not going to stick to the bottom of the plate. This really helps. So I'm making it to where the blueberries are going to be up on the top and the flat is going to be on the bottom with the parchment paper. And it glided so easily off of it and right onto the parchment paper. And I'm going to do that one for the other as well. And then I'm going to put saran wrap on top. And we're going to put them into the refrigerator. And the next day, I will start making the icing. This helps by doing it in a 2-day process because my son's birthday isn't until Friday and I've made the cake on Thursday. And if I was to make this all in one day, I'd have to get up really early, make the cake, let it cool, and then I could make the icing, but then everyone would want to dig into it that night. So I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make it to where I made the cake batter Thursday, let it cool, and then the next day make the icing. And then that way it would be ready for when we sing happy birthday to my son and, enjoy it that way. But look how beautiful it looks. It really is really, really pretty. It smells great. And again, the cake was really tasty and delicious. Now they are ready to go into the refrigerator in my garage until the next day when I go to make the icing. It's Friday, it's my son's second birthday, so we're going to go ahead and make the lemon cream cheese frosting, and here's everything that we're going to use for it. We're going to use lemon extract. We're going to use room temperature softened butter. Make sure it's definitely soft before using it. We're going to use cream cheese that is also soft at room temperature, and we're going to use powdered sugar. And also heavy whipping cream as well. So let's get started. I am using my electric stand mixer with the whisk attachment, and this is a KitchenAid, and I really love this one. And we're going to go ahead and use half a cup of room temperature butter. Just go ahead and place it all in there. We are going to add 12 ounces of cream cheese that has been left out at room temperature. That way it's nice and soft and it mixes well. You definitely want to do this when you are making homemade frosting. I really love making homemade frosting because there's nothing better than the taste of it. I remember way back in the day, I'd always get like the ones already in the tubs. What did I know? I was young, but this is so much better. I definitely highly recommend it if you have the time to do it. It is perfect and tasty, and you can really make the flavor to your liking, which makes that even more amazing. Plus, it's gluten-free too, so I'm gluten-free, and this makes it amazing for me. So we're going to do 12 ounces of the cream cheese and go ahead and add that into our bowl. The cream cheese I like to get from Aldi's. I find that their price is really great for their cream cheese, and I find a lot of meals that I can include this in. So not just for making frosting or putting on bagels, but I use it in a lot of recipes for making sauces or other things like that. And it's nice to have it on hand, so then I have other options for meals throughout the week, and it makes it nice and easy for me. I want to say I got it for $1.49 at Aldi's, so I can't complain on the price of that, and my kids love it on bagels. Now we're going to go ahead and whip the cream cheese and the butter together for a good 2 to 3 minutes. I like to start it off slow, and then I get about to a good 6 on the speed level, and you're going to do this for a good 2 to 3 minutes. Do this until it's nice and smooth. I am speeding up the video, so it does look like it's going super fast, but trust me, it's not. At about a certain point, I do stop it, and then I scrape down the cream cheese and butter, so that way then it can really whip everything nicely together. And also scrape down the sides of the bowl as well. I'm going to go ahead and whip it another minute. So that way we are at 3 minutes total of whipping the cream cheese and the butter together. That way it gives it a really nice smooth texture. I don't have any clumps of the cream cheese or butter. We are going to add 4.5 cups of powdered sugar, but we are going to slowly introduce it. And after each cup, then we're going to go ahead and mix it in, and we're going to put it on a setting of stir level 3 because you don't want that powder to just fly everywhere. And then once it's whipped in, then we're going to add in another cup. First, we're going to start off with 4.5 cups. And I actually added in 5.5 cups because I felt the consistency needed to be a little bit thicker. So, you can always add more, so it's best to start less. Also, adding it in 1 cup at a time really helps with the texture and making it smooth, but it really helps you figure out how much you should be adding because once you've added it, you can't take it away. So that's why I start with less, and then if I need more, I can add more. Now that it is smooth and there are no more chunks, we're going to go ahead and add the other ingredients into it. Now we're going to add 3 tablespoons of lemon extract. Now we're going to go ahead and blend until smooth. I let mine blend for a good 2 to 3 minutes. And lastly, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. and then mix for 2 to 3 minutes until smooth. And I have it on a level 5 for the speed because there's no more loose powder in it. It's all been mixed in and it's nice and smooth, so you can bump it up on the speed a little bit higher. And then again, just mix it until it's nice and smooth. It's nice and smooth. It smells amazing right now in my house. I'm gonna go ahead and feel how the texture feels. And I feel that it needs just a little bit more powdered sugar. So we're gonna add in a 1/2 cup, and then we're gonna add in another 1/2 cup, making it actually a total of 5.5 cups. Like I was saying earlier, it's best to add less first because you can always add more if you need to. And this is actually helping me get to the texture of the lemon cream cheese frosting that I want it to be. Also, don't forget to scrape down the sides and give this a good mix for a good 2 to 3 minutes until this is nice and smooth, because you want to make sure that there are no more clumps now that we've added another 1 cup of the powdered sugar. It is perfect right where I want it to be for the texture, and let me tell you, it tastes so amazing. So now we can go ahead and get the next steps going, pulling out the cake and start icing it. I went and pulled the cakes out of the refrigerator in my garage, and we're going to use a cake stand for this. I'm going to take it and flip it to where the fruit is going to be on the bottom. And I'm doing this so that way when I add the icing on the bottom part of the cake, which is now our top part, it'll easily go on top. I'm just using my spatula just to scoop it out and place it on the top. And then we're just going to spread it all over top. So that way I have a nice thick layer of the lemon cream cheese frosting. Now we're going to take the second cake and do the same thing where we put the fruit on top of the lemon cream cheese frosting. So that way our bottom is now our top. That way it makes it really nice and smooth when we put more of the lemon cream cheese frosting on top. And we also want to make sure that we put a good amount of it on the top, so that way we have a nice thick layer of the lemon cream cheese frosting, so when we spread it all out. And I'm also going to spread it out around on the side as well. Now, I'm not a pro when it comes to decorating a cake, but I love to have fun with it. I feel like if I make a mistake, I can just try to hide it with something else. So don't get worried or frustrated with it. Have fun with it, because you can always add something to it to make it look better. That's why I like doing fruit on top of my cakes, because you can kind of hide it with the little imperfection areas, and no one will ever know, and they'll think like, wow, this is amazing. Once I finish icing the cake on the top and the sides, I'm actually going to put the cake in the refrigerator, and I will leave it in there for a good hour until I am ready to start decorating the rest of the cake with the icing. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with the rest of the icing too after I get this into the refrigerator. Okay, it doesn't look the prettiest right now, but we're going to go ahead and put it in the refrigerator for a good hour, and then I will show you the next step. Now that our cake is in the fridge, we're going to go ahead and start getting the piping bag ready, and I am using an open star piping tip. This is always my go-to for when I do cupcakes or decorate for cakes. I find this one to be really easy, and plus I love how the design it makes. We're going to go ahead and take a gallon Ziploc bag and place the tip on the inside of it. Then we're going to take a cup and we're going to put it like the tip down at the bottom of the cup, and then wrap the edge of the Ziploc bag around the sides. This helps when I go to put the icing in the Ziploc bag. You can use the gallon Ziploc bag, or if you have piping bags, that works perfectly well too. I've used piping bags in the past, but I actually use the gallon Ziploc bags a lot because this is what I have on hand. And so right now we're just going to go ahead and take the icing and scoop it into the Ziploc bag. I want to make sure I can get as much as I can from the bowl. I probably won't use it all, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. So that way I can make sure that, when I decorate it, I do have enough. Now that we have all the icing that we can get out of the bowl into the Ziploc bag, we're going to go ahead and zip it up. And then we're going to put it into the refrigerator, and I'm going to let it sit for a good hour to 2 hours until I am ready to start decorating the cake with the icing that we have in the Ziploc bag. It has been 2 hours now, and I am so ready to start decorating my son's birthday cake. I got him down for a nap, so I will have enough time to start decorating it. So what I'm going to do is clean up around the edge of the cake stand, so that way it kind of finesses it. And you can hide the imperfections too when you decorate along the sides, but I just try to wipe up as much as I can right now before I start decorating on the bottom. I am just using a paper towel that's a little bit damp at the end, so that way then I can control how much wetness is on the paper towel, so I'm not, soaking the plate here, but just easily wiping up the icing that has dried actually onto the cake stand. Now I'm going to take a knife and just smooth out the sides of the cake. Because this is a thinner consistency for the icing, that's why I like to put this cake in the refrigerator and let it just sit for a while and it hardens up. But then it helps to where I can really smooth it out nicely and still have that beautiful flavor of icing that tastes so yummy, just of a nice lemon flavor. So this really helps out a lot. I'm also going to do the same for the top, but just not as much because I will actually be taking a fork to the top of it, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to use a fork to create like a basket weave on the top, and I am just gently dragging it along. I'm not making them super tight or close, I'm spacing them out. I love how the top turned out using the fork. And so now we're going to go ahead and pull the icing out of the refrigerator, and we are going to go ahead and start decorating it using the open star tip. Now I have the icing out of the refrigerator and it feels great. And we're going to cut just a little bit of the tip of the Ziploc bag, so that way we can go ahead and push the piping tip through. We don't want it completely all the way out because we want the Ziploc bag to kind of like lock it in place. And now we can go ahead and start decorating our cake. Here's how I'm holding the bag. I'm kind of squeezing more close towards the end and holding at the top so it doesn't ooze out at the top, but that way I can kind of really control it when I'm squeezing out to get the shape that I want when piping. Putting the icing in the refrigerator really helped firm it up, so when I was decorating the cake, it made it so much easier. Now again, let me remind you, I am not a pro when it comes to icing and decorating a cake, but I try my best and I still make it work. And this was just for my family. We weren't doing a big birthday party or anything like that. He's just 2, and I wanted to make it just where it was just us and to where we could all just really enjoy his excitement of enjoying blowing out the candles and the cake, because we're at that age where everything is just really so exciting. So I just try to like soak up as much as I can as possible, and we wanted to keep it simple. But it was nice to make a cake, something that we could all enjoy together. And the nice thing about this too is I was able to freeze what we didn't eat, so that worked out perfect. And now I have desserts for other nights, for Friday family movie nights. I kind of go back and forth with how I'm decorating to space out what I have for the icing. That way I can really portion it out. Here's how the cake looks just with icing. We're going to actually put some fresh blueberries on top that I got from Aldi's earlier in the day, but I wanted to show you what it looked like, and we're going to go ahead and put it in the refrigerator to let it firm up a little bit more. So while the cake's in the refrigerator, I thought I'd go ahead and show you how I decorated for our son's 2nd birthday. We did a Dragons Love Taco theme. My kids absolutely love that story. My daughter and I made tacos and put it on the string for a banner. They turned out so cute. I also drew some characters from the book, and we cut out some tacos and put them on the china hutch. Just adds a little more cute, festive pizzazz to it. It makes it fun. I also put the book on the dining room for the centerpiece. And my daughter and I also decorated the fireplace. That was a lot of fun doing that with her. And she also made the invitation that's in the book. It's so cute. but that was a lot of fun doing that with her. Okay, I just pulled the cake out of the refrigerator and it is time to start decorating the cake with some fresh blueberries that I got from Aldi's earlier in the day. They have the best price in produce. I absolutely love getting my stuff there. And so I washed them up and dried them. And now I'm just going to go ahead and have fun placing them sporadically throughout the top and on the sides. And you really can't go wrong with this. You know, you can make a design on the center of it. You can just really have fun with it. But this makes it pop nicely. And it really pairs well, being that hence it is lemon blueberry cake. And so I really love to use fresh blueberries on the inside of the cake, but I didn't have time to get out to the grocery store the day before. And so I kind of split up how I did things. And it worked out fine too, just using the frozen blueberries as well on the inside part of the cake. But I wanted the fresh blueberries on the top, on the cake on the top, because the frozen blueberries tend to bleed a lot of the blue color off. So that's why I wanted the fresh for the outside of the cake. But this turned out so nice and it tastes so amazing. My son, for his birthday, you know, he loves blueberries. So I thought this would go well for his birthday cake. And it was a big hit. He really liked it. Everyone else loved it too. And this is a cake that I do tend to make a lot because it is really tasty. I am also going to go ahead and get some more icing back on the top and just kind of add some here and there just to kind of give it more of a pop of the 3D lookness of the icing, and just adds a little more icing because who doesn't like icing on their cake, especially when it's homemade, and this lemon cream cheese frosting is really tasty and delicious. The cake looks amazing. It is done. Everyone can't wait to have it. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the refrigerator because I'm actually going to be making tacos for dinner. Hence the story, Dragons Love Taco and the Dragon Taco theme. We're doing tacos for dinner. Everyone loves tacos in my house, especially my kids. That's one of their favorites. And so we're going to have dinner first, and dinner turned out amazing. So now it is actually time to have cake and ice cream and sing happy birthday to our son. And we just can't wait. It's so exciting, especially for these moments. It's such a bittersweet time when, you know, you want them to stay little, but it's so exciting when they grow up and they learn and do more things and their expressions as they grow too. So it was really precious when we came out with the birthday cake lit up. We all sang happy birthday to my son. He was so excited. He was so cute and precious about it. He just lit up once I came around that corner with the cake lit up with 2 candles on it. And he was so happy. But now we're gonna go ahead and have some cake. And I love the contrast color between the lemon cream cheese frosting and the inside of the lemon blueberry cake. It looks perfect. And I'm actually giving him a cute little Peter Rabbit fork because it's his birthday. And I also made some homemade vanilla ice cream. I will have the link in the description box down below of a video of how I made it. It's really easy. I love making homemade ice cream because I know what's going in it. I'm gluten-free and it's actually really not that hard. My husband bought me the KitchenAid ice cream attachment bowl, and it is the best thing ever for a kitchen appliance because we like ice cream a lot, and you know, it's really saved us a lot of money by making homemade ice cream. And it's amazing. It's really nice. The texture is amazing. But the vanilla ice cream paired so well with the birthday cake. It was delicious. The cake was super soft and moist. The blueberries on the inside were so delicious and delightful comparing next to the lemon. It just paired so well. Everyone loved it. And we didn't finish all the cake because, I mean, it's a really big cake and there's only 5 people in my family. So what I actually did, we had some the next night too, but then I froze the rest because I was like, you know, this is a really big cake. It's a lot. And so I wanted to save it for another Friday family movie night. And that way then it saves me a night to have to worry about making a dessert. It just really helps out doing that. But it was a lot of fun making the birthday cake for my son with my daughter. She had a blast doing it. I had a blast. It turned out amazing. We all loved it. We had a great time. Tacos were great too. Cake was amazing. Ice cream was great. This cake is also amazing during the springtime. It is so perfect and beautiful during that time of the year. But thank you everyone so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye guys.